Ray's Sports and Slams is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
What is up, gang? We are here. I am Ray Dean. I am your host of Ray's Sports and Slams. This show is dedicated to all you sports fans out there. If you're a fan of Major League Baseball, if you're a fan of the NFL, if you're a fan of the NBA, if you're a fan of wrestling, this is a show you want to watch. I am Ray Dean. I am your host again, part of the Boink Studios family, and I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, subscribe, boinkstudios.com, YouTube, follow us on Facebook. I would definitely appreciate it. Guys, I just asked, please, let's keep it friendly. Let's keep it light and fluffy. This show is dedicated to sports, and let's all just respect each other. A lot to talk about today, so welcome, everybody. And again, I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs. We're down to the Final Four. If we were talking about any other sport, we're down to 4 teams. The Toronto Blue Jays, New York Yankees, the Detroit Tigers, Seattle Mariners, Dodgers, Phillies, and the Cubs, and Milwaukee. So, in my opinion, right now, the Yankees are down 2-0. Not looking good. Toronto is a powerhouse. They're a juggernaut. They have a team that's stacked from top to bottom. They have Springer, who's from Houston. And it comes down to, in my opinion, baseball is a sport that requires top-notch pitching. Offense is always great, but if you don't have pitching to stop it, you're not going to win 15-14. If you're giving up 12, 13 runs a game, your hitting is scoring 7, 8 runs, you're going to lose these games. So it's going to come down to, again, in my opinion, pitching. And right now, Toronto's just dominating them because their pitching's just a little better. Not that, in my opinion, Toronto's got the best pitching staff in baseball, but again, they have a pitching staff that's pretty solid and enough where, again, they're holding it down. The Tigers are tied 1-1 with Seattle. Kerry Carpenter is doing extremely well. Riley Green's doing extremely well, but Seattle still has Carl. And Carl, 60 home runs. What can I say? This guy is crushing it right now. And I feel like Seattle's going to rebound and get there. I think it's probably going to be a Seattle-Toronto American League final. I know a lot of Yankee fans are probably upset about that. I apologize, but if you're asking me, in my opinion, that's the way it is. Elvis Martinez, thank you for joining, and I will acknowledge you. Let's talk about the National League side. We've got the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs. Milwaukee's up 1-0. Milwaukee's tough. They've got, in my opinion, the best pitching out of everybody, and I think it's going to come down to, can the Cubs find a way to scrape up some runs? Chicago's one of these teams that seem like, I don't know, is it me? But this team is always cursed. There's always an issue with the Cubs getting to the World Series. There was that black cat incident several years ago. I feel bad for Cubs fans because they've always got some type of, I don't know, bad karma about that team. I don't get it. And of course, you got the Phillies and the Dodgers. Dodgers have the phenomenon, Shohei Ohtani, only guy I know in baseball that can pitch and hit and just do it on another level. He's the guy. He's on a different level. The Dodgers have him. They have some other great hitters. So I feel like they're going to be a tough out. Phillies have Kyle Schwarber. They have some decent pitching as well. But if you're asking my opinion right now, I'm going with the Dodgers probably in 6 or 7. So I'm going to have the Dodgers probably playing Milwaukee in the National League Championship Series. Sugar Shane is in the audience. Thank you for joining. And yes, the Cowboys did look good yesterday. And we're going to talk about that a little later in the show. So don't forget, I got you on that. Back to baseball. So again, if you're telling me to pick somebody right now, gun to my head, it's hard to go against Toronto just because they have the hitting. Toronto's hitting is astounding. And they just have enough pitching to get through. So I think they could get to the World Series. If you're asking me who's coming out of the National League, unfortunately, I have to say the Dodgers as well. Not my favorite team, but again, the Dodgers do have, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, when you have a guy that can hit and pitch, it's tough. How do you defeat a team with something that that out of a characteristic? It's like, how does this guy, do both so effectively? Because he pitches just as good as he hits. I mean, I hate to see it. I'm a New York Mets fan, so I suffer, unfortunately, tremendously. Switching gears, I now want to talk about the NFL. The NFL now is showing a lot of games in London. And it's one of those situations where Roger Goodell is really pushing this international play. They really like to see, these games out in Europe, in Barcelona, in London. I think they may be moving games to France. I think they're really starting to build a more international audience. I'm all for it. Any sport that you could generate to a larger audience, I think is awesome. I feel at the end of the day, we want to build the brand. The NFL was struggling for a couple of years with getting an audience, to bring it, nationally, to bring it to such a broad-based audience right now, I think is great. The NBA has been doing it for years. Baseball's been doing it for years. Why not the NFL? At the end of the day, it's only going to create more revenue for everybody. People are complaining, the games are too early. I don't like these games at 9:30 in the morning, blah, blah, blah. Dude, if that's your team, if that's who you follow, if that's who you like, at the end of the day, you should support your team and watch it. I have no problem watching the Cowboys at 9:30 in the morning if that's when they're playing at. It's one of those things where you've got to, show your love for the team. And international play is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's a lot of people that, think that having international play will detract from, the U.S. audience. They're going to get less people. No one's going to watch a game that early. Most people are used to watching games at, 12, 1 o'clock. There's Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football. So having these early games at 11:30, 9:30, people are getting upset about it. And you know what? You'll get used to it. People get accustomed to things and they get used to things and things change drastically. And I feel like if Roger Goodell sticks with this, he will build enough people to watch this. And I feel like the NFL will grow tremendously. I'm going to bring a guest on now who's been waiting patiently. He's been in the back room hanging out with the Ray Sports and Slams beatbox crew. They were just in there just beatboxing their brains out. I think he was actually joining them. So I think he's done. So let me introduce everybody. The man of Boink Studios, my man, my mellow, Mr. Tom Clark. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? How you doing, Ray?
Thank you so much for joining us today. I really,
of course. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. So I want to get your input on the NFL. Roger Goodell is obviously building a brand. He's trying to get this to go globally. He's building this into, a larger audience. What do you take on this? Are you for it? You against it? Because a lot of people are complaining, these games are so early. I'm used to the 12 o'clock games. I'm used to the 7 o'clock games. These games are so early, blah, blah, blah. Ball is yours, my friend.
I mean, I'm kind of with you on this, Ray. Like at the end of the day, are you a fan or are you not a fan? Like if the games are played that morning, I mean, my goodness, you can always watch on demand. If you have Hulu or YouTube TV or whatever that looks like, you can watch it later. You don't necessarily have to watch live as it happens. But, also if the games are not throwaway games, if they're not exhibition, if they actually count towards the actual record for that season, you would want to watch live games, right? I mean, it only makes sense. If it's me, I'm watching live. I mean, as you know, Ray, you've been on the mic with some of our friends in the UK for a lot of our podcasts here at Boink Studios. And, they're 5 hours ahead of time. So if I'm recording at 3 p.m. Eastern my time, it's 8 o'clock for them. So, those guys are watching AEW and those pay-per-views really late at night. They just, it's their thing. So they sit up and watch it. I don't know how it's any different for us, man. I mean, I think it'd be fine. Now, Ray, do you think that like long-term, are we talking about actually setting up teams in the UK, NFL actual, franchises?
I think eventually they're going to take a lot of these players who maybe not be starting on teams and maybe formulating a new league like the NBA used to when they were building out the Charlotte Hornets and getting these guys that were like not necessarily scab players or scrub players, but just bench players that didn't really have a major role in their team. It's like, hey, here's a chance to start on an NFL team now. You don't have to be the backup quarterback or the backup running back or backup tight end, et cetera. So I feel like if it's an opportunity for you to get that chance to actually start, hey, you know what? Go for it. At the end of the day, they're gonna, really build, their audience with the international play, like I said. And these players are gonna get a chance to get their name out there and show them what they could do. And hey, maybe eventually they could switch and go to another team. It's like, hey, this guy in Europe is crushing it. Maybe someone from the Giants or the Cowboys or the Raiders, or wherever, maybe, start to get a liking to those types of players and may want to bring them here. But yeah, like, why not? And to double down on what you said, I'm a fan. And if I want to see my team and they're playing at 9:30 in the morning, guess what? I would just wake up, do my routine, and change things around and watch it at 9:30. It's not going to kill me to watch a game a little earlier than I usually do. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it such a big problem to watch something earlier than later?
Yeah, and I don't think it's not a problem for me at all. I mean, I'm with you. I think it's fine. I am curious, like, do we think at some point the NFL could possibly, like, kind of like, in the UK, in Europe, we have the Premier League, but over here we have MLS. So, like, would there be an NFL Europe? Would there be an NFL UK? Like, I wonder if they would go that far. Have they gone that far before? You might know more than I do about that.
They're really contemplating it, but I think they want the brand to stay in the NFL, but just have maybe teams overseas. And maybe they'll build a brand and call it the NFL UK, the NFL Europe, whatever they may be. Maybe those games will be, televised differently at different times, but they'll be like a different part of the NFL. Like the NFC and the AFC. Maybe they'll have like the NFC, Europe. I feel like the NFL's got to grow. Like, you can't be stagnant with these things. And Shane, I understand your point, but at the end of the day, you want to build a brand bigger, and you can't just limit it to domestic. International is what they're doing, and it's one of those things where, if I'm an advertiser and I'm an international brand and I want to grow, I want to see some European. Or I want to see my team play in Europe. I want to see, Barcelona or London, wherever the case may be. But your brand is important. And like, yeah, these sponsors are from these other countries want to get their brand out there. If we don't have a presence there, you're losing revenue. And at the end of the day, all you sports fans, it does come down to revenue. And if the revenue's not there, if the revenue's not there, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? People get so caught up in, again, not to sound redundant, the times, and I don't like the fact it's so early, and I wish they would just stick to U.S. games. Why does it have to be 9:30 in the morning? Come on, stop. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. It's like you gotta roll with the times. You gotta adapt. You've gotta grow with the brand itself. Like I said. And, if you don't like it, too bad.
Oh, I see what you did there. You see Shane's comment there, by the way, that next comment that Shane had. What do you think about that?
No. I don't want it. I don't want NFL blood money.
A team in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. No, I'm against that. But have it in Europe, have it in London, or other parts of Europe, I'm all for it. Like, the games they've had so far, I've had no problems with.
Yeah, Europe and obviously Europe and Saudi Arabia is not the same place. And
it's two different worlds.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia has its issues. I mean, I think we've often said our argument's not necessarily with the people in Saudi Arabia, it's more with the government.
100%.
And the horrible things they've been guilty of through the years. And as wrestling fans, that's also our pushback for that company as well. But no, Shane, I get your point, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, at the end of the day, like you said, Ray, money talks, And if they can find a way to make it profitable, that would be the thing. The travel part of it, I wonder if they could figure that out. The crossing over time zones, jet lag plays a role in the players' preparation, both physically and mentally. Getting enough rest, getting the right diet. Are they going to have the food they need? It's a different world over there. A lot of logistics they'll have to get straight before any sort of expansion team or any sort of UK league could actually happen, I think.
But I found that the games I've seen thus far that have been played in Europe, they've been very competitive and the sold out games. So they're generating an audience.
Sure.
So I can't be mad at that. They're generating the audience. They're getting the people. They're getting the viewership. And, maybe instead of, leaving, Monday, for the game in Europe after the game on Sunday, maybe leave Sunday night. Maybe take a late flight Sunday, give them that extra rest period to kind of, like I said, get acclimated to, the environment, so to speak. But yeah, there's going to be adjustments, but, like everything else, things have to change. And, Roger Goodell, he's a smart guy. And I think he's on a good track. Let's see, if they weren't getting the ratings they were getting, if they weren't getting the viewership they were getting, this would have already stopped already. So he's doing something right. I want to switch gears, and now we're going to go into the world of boxing. And coming up on November 14th in Miami, we have Gervonta Tank Davis versus the YouTube sensation, quote unquote sensation, Jake Paul. For those who don't know either one of these guys, Gervonta Tank Davis is a former junior welterweight champion. He's 30-0, 28 knockouts. He usually fights around that 135, 140 range. Jake Paul, he's 12-1. He usually fights around 195, 200. His last fight was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who hadn't fought since he just got out of prison, which was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. What are your thoughts on this? I have a lot, but I'm going to throw the ball to you first.
Well, I'll try not to take all day. I can't say I've been an avid follower of boxing lately, but I did follow it when it was on ESPN back in the day, and they would show like maybe fighters you hadn't heard of and stuff. That's when I really gravitated toward it. I think the era of Tyson and shortly after Holyfield's era is when I really started getting into it. I don't understand how we got to this point. I won't waste a lot of time. I don't understand how we're now classifying this as boxing and we're saying that this is what this is. When this guy, Paul, is clearly, you can have your favorites, kids. I get it. But like, clearly this is not just what he does. He does a lot of other things too. And, this idea that he is the standard of what boxing is in 2025, I just don't know how I'm feeling about that. And, for me personally, I'd like to see Davis get this win. I think we've went from, and look, Ray, let's be honest. Professional boxing has never been 100% on the up and up. There's always been an element, not only of show business, but of some crooked stuff going on in that. Used to be called the sport of kings. I think those days are far over now. So, they've had their issues. There's been some corruption in that sport, I think, like there would be anywhere else. But for those men and women who pride themselves on being great professional boxers, I don't know. Do you think Logan Paul is bringing more eyes to the sport than he was before? Maybe just for people wanting to see him get knocked out, or am I off base?
I feel, in my opinion, like Jake Paul is doing this for the sensationalism.
Yeah.
I think he's taking the boxing a little seriously, but he's going in there because it's a business. He's looking to make money, and he's fighting guys. For those who don't follow the sport as much as I don't, I'm an avid boxing fan. He's fighting guys that are either way past their prime, i.e. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, for those who don't know, at that time was 58 going on 59 years old. He's fighting retired UFC fighters who have no boxing experience. Or he's fighting someone now like Gervonta Tank Davis, who's walking around at 135 pounds, and Jake is walking around at about 200 pounds. So he's got a 70-pound weight advantage. So now he's saying, I'm fighting a real boxer, but yeah, he happens to be 70 pounds lighter. He doesn't throw in that little tidbit of information. Yeah, you're fighting somebody in their prime, excuse me, who's a legit boxer, but just happens to be, like I said, 70 pounds lighter. So it's, it's nuts. Emmy's in the chat. Yes, I agree. Davis should 100% get this win. Jake Paul's a YouTuber, and it's ridiculous that he's getting this fight, but at the end of the day, he is. I myself, like I said, people were impressed that he beat Mike Tyson. People were impressed that he beat Tyrone Woodley. And I think we had this conversation off air. If your son, who I think he's 16, 17, beat me at basketball, what does that mean? I'm 3 times his age and I stink. So what is that accomplishing? A young kid beat me in basketball? He should. So to me, it's like when you're beating a 59-year-old boxer and I think Jake Paul is 22, 23, what does that mean? Like, okay, congratulations, you beat somebody, that's, way, way past their prime, who shouldn't be boxing, or you're fighting somebody again that's a UFC retiree who hasn't had any boxing experience. And the one time he actually fought somebody that was legit, right weight, right size, was Tyson Fury's little brother. And that's where you see the big L. That's where he took his first L. He fought somebody in his weight class who's a boxer.
Right.
I think he felt like, well, because this Fury guy only had 5 or 6 fights, I could probably take him because he didn't have enough experience. Guy's still a legit boxer.
Right.
He got his brains kicked in. So my point there, Tank Davis is a lot faster than you think, and he's going to bring it. And he may not be as big, but the dude hits. 28 knockouts, they don't grow on trees. So he's going to be in a world of hurt, my friend. Chris Patton is in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. He says he doesn't care about an exhibition boxing match to Logan Paul. It's all a work. I hate to say part of me does agree with you, but at the end of the day, I feel like Gervonta Davis has a lot to lose. He still has a career. He's still going to box. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's 24, 25 years old. I think he's going to continue his path. For him to have this fight and to lose would just destroy his career. And he's got too much money. There's other fights for him. Shakur Stevenson. There's big real money fights in his own weight class that are legit fighters that, again, wouldn't make sense for him to lose. Do you agree?
That's a hot take, but I'm again I'm here for the hot take, man. Like you really think that if this thing is anything except a win for Davis, that could impact does it impact his earning moving forward? Does it impact his respect level? How do you think that plays out?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if he loses those future big fights with Shakur and these other guys that are in his weight class that are also champions, because right now in boxing, there's 15 champions. It's insane.
There always is, isn't there?
There always is. WBA, WBC, SSP, WWC, just making letters, but it's insane. There's multiple champions, but they really recognize 3 bodies: the WBC, WBA, and the IBF. Yeah. So with those 3 bodies, there's a lot of money there. And for Tank to lose this, I think he's got too much to lose. There's too much big money. He's got a good promotion team behind him. So I don't think it would make sense for him to drop this. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's rough. Chris, again, the Paul brothers have shown me no other reason to think that. Actually, boxer. I agree with you to some extent. I agree to some extent, but because, like I said, if this was a UFC fighter, this is a retired boxer, you have me. But Tank Davis is in his prime and he's still fighting. So what is him to gain by having this fake fight and to lose? Credibility goes down to the what. Am I right?
Do you think there's a level of, do you think there's show business happening here? Do you think that this is a work like, I mean, we're all kind of thinking that as pro wrestling fans. Do you think there's any truth to that? Has there been any solid proof that these fights are being thrown?
I don't think there's any solid proof. I think, people were very suspicious of the Mike Tyson thing, that, Tyson could have really hurt him if he really wanted to, but he didn't. But Mike Tyson had nothing to lose. He made a lot of money, and he's got nothing to fight for. He's retired. He's 59. He's not looking for his next payday. So he could have easily taking it easy on Jake. Maybe, I hate to say the word throwing it, but Gervonta Davis has too much to lose. I feel like, what is he gaining by tanking this fight? You know what
I
I
agree
mean?
with that. I agree with that. I just, I just wonder in terms of, why is he only fighting guys of a certain stature, guys who aren't in their prime? Is the answer that guys don't want anything to do with him? Or is it because they don't care about him, or because maybe some of these guys are thinking, man, what if he does get the better of me and that does hurt my career? Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Could be a little both. Again, I feel like there's so much to lose in Tank Davis losing this fight or not making it credible.
So
you know what I mean?
Look at Chris's next comment there, because I'm curious what your take is on that. He says, an exhibition with weirdly weighted gloves with no weight class, it means nothing credibility wise. I think he's right, but it's almost like like in a trial when the judge throws out a witness testimony and tells the jury to disregard it, but they've heard it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that you don't follow judge's orders and do, but they've heard it. Like, Chris, to your point, if it means nothing, great. But if this guy gets knocked out in the first round, how many people are watching the fight going, well, it didn't matter? How many going to say he beat an actual in his prime box? Oh my God. Like, maybe it will mean something, Ray. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll mean a lot for him. It will destroy Davis's career. Like, you lost to a YouTuber.
That's
like
hot.
he's got a lot to lose. If I was Gervonta Davis, I hate to say this because the fight's already scheduled, I wouldn't take this fight. You have a lot to lose and nothing to gain. If you beat him, you beat a YouTuber. Whoopie-doo. If you lose, you lost to a YouTuber. You're a champion. You're undefeated. 28 knockouts. How are you losing to this guy? I don't care if he's 70 pounds heavier than you. You're Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't understand. So
what's his payday? Do we know his payday for this?
He's getting, I think, 6-7 million. And Jake Paul's obviously getting a lot more.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting annoyed with this, so I'm going to switch gears. We're going to go to my favorite sport, the NBA, and JJ Redick, coach, of my opinion, the greatest team in the world, the Lakers, is signed a 2 new contract. What is that? That JJ Redick is coach of the greatest team?
Biased opinion.
No, it's not.
Biased
Nah.
No, it's not. That's just factual. He signed
who's spitting that hate in your direction?
Yeah, who's spitting this hate? I don't understand. He signed a 2-year extension. They're estimating that got another $40 million to stay with the Lakers. Led the Lakers last year to 50 wins, got them to 3 seed. He's added some more pieces to the team now. I like the extension. I think JJ brings a lot to the table. He's a coach's coach. He's an X and O's guy. He's a young guy. He's had a really good career with both the Clippers and he played with the Pelicans. I think he was averaging maybe 17, 18 points a game, couple of assists, couple of rebounds. He's a solid 6-man. And, the Lakers respond to him. And I think he's adding a lot of value to the team. And I feel like he could bring a lot to the Lakers winning a championship this year. Your thoughts on JJ? I know you're not a Duke guy, but talk to me. What do you think about it?
As a Carolina Tar Heels fan, I cannot be a JJ Redick guy. I didn't like him in college. I don't like him now. And I'm sure he's okay with that. I mean, look,
he'll survive.
Yeah, he'll be all right. The proof's in the pudding. Like you said, the proof's in the pudding. Like, if he's getting it done and they're happy and he's LeBron's guy and LeBron's his guy, then I say fine. Let the guy get paid. Do I think he's great? I don't know. Not for me to say. It's not my team. But he's obviously meant something to that locker room. They've evidently rallied around him, I assume, to the point that not just LeBron wants him there. Everything's great as long as the honeymoon is good. But if the honeymoon, when it's over, when we're in the thick of things and we're 2 years in after this point, are we still good? Are they on a huge losing streak? Is there talk of, because you know how this goes.
An important comment. What's this say?
Oh, well.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Let's keep that up for a second. I agree with you.
Well,
and I'm not saying that, because it's
biased opinion.
No,
sure you are.
I'm just all right. Go ahead.
Sure you are.
I digress.
Well, you know how this league is. It's fickle. Like it's you're a hero today, you're a villain tomorrow. And players don't get blamed. And if they do, they don't get fired. Coach gets fired. That's how it
Yeah.
works. It's always worked that way. So they love Reddit today. What about next week? Next month, next year, 2 years from now? I mean, maybe nothing will happen. I don't know. But I'm curious to see how it plays out long term. I mean, do you see him multiple years with this team? Do you think that's what we're looking at?
I feel like, for those who follow the JJ Redick's career, he's done a podcast with LeBron. So he's a LeBron guy.
Yeah, yeah.
They just signed a big extension to Luka Doncic, who's now the franchise and face of the Lakers. He's the JJ guy. So you got two guys who are backing this guy up. What's up, Timmy Gonzalez? Thank you, my brother, for watching. Yes, exactly. It is the LA show. He's built this team. They all respond to him. And I think that if eventually, LeBron retires in another 35 years, JJ's their guy. And they have a lot of faith in him. I mean, he's turned that team around. One thing I will say about him, which I do respect, if you're playing bad, he's not playing you. And he doesn't care who you are.
That's good.
He plays his starters. And if you're, bricking it up, he's not going to play you. If you're an offer guy, he's not going to play you. He's one of those guys that, he's going to do what he's got to do to get this team the W. And I've seen him make moves that a lot of people were unhappy with. That I'm like, hey, he's doing the right thing here. He's getting this team in a situation to win. Luka Doncic, if you look at him now, the dude's dropped 40 pounds. He looks incredible. That's a JJ thing. JJ told him off the offseason, look, dude, you're my guy. You're my franchise player. They just signed you to a big 5-year extension. You got to lose a little weight, dude. Basketball is a sport that requires a lot of cardio. Unfortunately, you're, putting on a little bit of the pounds, and, he responded to it. So, Rob Pelinka likes him. Laker Nation likes him. We'll see what happens. And, the honeymoon right now is still in the honeymoon stage, so to speak, but we shall see. Tim brings in a very interesting question. How do I like the NBA moving to NBC starting this season? I'm okay with it. I liked it on Channel 7, but which is ESPN, but NBC is fine. I don't know who's going to be, doing the game analyzation. So that depends on a lot of stuff, but yeah, I'm fine with it. Do you have a preference or you don't care?
It's going to be weird not to see the TNT crew. Those guys aren't moving across to NBC, are they? Or are they?
I don't believe they are.
I
don't believe so, which is a shame.
Guys been together forever,
Forever, yeah. Barkley and those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stick to the NBA, and now we're going to talk about Bronny James. Those who don't know who Bronny James is, he is LeBron James' son. And he right now is on his second year. He played some time in the G League, but his numbers don't lie. The guy's averaging 6 minutes, less than 3 points a game, less than an assist a game, less than a rebound a game.
Wow. He's
not putting up these amazing numbers. My question to you is this. I know, LeBron James is the face for, at least people say he's the face of the NBA. I know LeBron James has earned some type of rights to have his son play for the Lakers. But at what point do you say, you know what, son, look, I love you. You're my son, but maybe you should spend a full year in the G League, get your game better instead of doing the summer, do a full year, maybe 2 years, because you're just not ready. I love my kids to death, but if they're not ready for something, I'm not throwing them into shark wolves and let them go in there and drown. I'm going to let you take it from here.
So if you're a pro wrestling fan, I think it's the equivalent of putting Dustin Rhodes in the main event in his first 2 or 3 months as a pro wrestler. I mean, Dustin was naturally talented. Of course he is. Call him the natural for a reason, but big shoes to fill. And he was tag teaming with his dad. And that was tough. He loved being there, but it was tough. And because of that, we got Gold Dust later because it was his way of, I got to get out of the shadow. I should hope that my son would want to do things with me one day that I enjoy. Maybe my son would try his hand at podcasting, and I know it's a much, much different, example here, but I get the idea of, I love having my kid around and, he's learning on one of the best teams in the league and under arguably one of the greatest players of all time, under a red hot coach. in a high profile city. But same time, Ray, he's not really getting a chance to work on his game because the spotlight is as bright as a supernova on this kid. Like, I don't know how fair is it to him, you think, to even be thrown into all this to begin with?
Yeah. I mean, it's like he's there and he got drafted because of who his father is. I don't care what you tell me. And I feel like he's in a situation where no matter what this kid does, oh, your father did it so much better. Oh, your father did it like this. Oh, your father did it like that. And, you mentioned your son. I know if your son wanted to start podcasting, I'm sure you wouldn't start giving him his own show from day one. Hey,
Yeah.
maybe team up with me, team up with one of my friends, have him, be, a co-host for a little while, build his confidence. You're not going to just throw him to the wolves. I feel like Bronny's unfortunately being thrown to the wolves, and the numbers don't lie. If this guy was putting up 30 and 12 and 10, we'd have nothing to talk about. His numbers are there for a reason. And I feel like a full year in the G League could probably help him build his confidence up, build his game up. Because in my opinion, I don't think he's ready.
And, it's not to suggest that he can't be ready, that he can't play, but like maybe the timing's just not right. Like you said, maybe it's just he needs a little bit more work. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how it all plays out, man.
Ray Lakai, he's not ready to be in that team. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. The other son's about to play for the Arizona Wildcats. That's a good move. Let him stay in college for a little while and let him build his career.
Yeah,
I think it's great. And a lot of people are saying that the younger son is better than Bronny. So we shall see. But I just, at the end of the day, like I said, if this was anybody else's son, this would never, ever, ever happen. I feel like this has only happened because it's LeBron James.
I mean, Jordan's sons both played in the league, right? But I don't recall there ever being, I think they were good role players.
Yes.
But I don't think it was ever, and I don't know if it was ever, well, they're Jordan's son, they have to, but they also weren't in Michael's shadow the whole time they played, I don't think. At least not from a team perspective, they weren't.
No.
But yeah,
and
this
the hype
kid
wasn't
is
as much for them, right? You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
It was a different time too.
And Kobe's daughter, God rest her soul, she was looking to start playing college basketball in North Carolina. God rest his soul. And she was going to do it the right way. She was going to do 3 years of college, build her brand, and then try to play for one of these WNBA teams. But she wasn't looking to leave high school and play for a professional team. She was really, really good, and I think she probably could have, but she's like, no, I really want to establish myself in college and see what I could do. And that's Kobe Bryant. And I feel like LeBron, I don't know, he's taking a path. Did someone say Kobe?
Kobe.
That's my guy. He could have easily made his daughter, go straight to the WNBA right out of high school, but he didn't. And she did the right thing, and she was going to play in college. I think Bronny played less than a year in college and went straight to the NBA. And I think it's kind of nuts. Like, this guy should have gotten some college experience, or now at the very least get some G League experience. The G League, for those who don't follow the NBA, is like Major League Baseball minor league. Build your brand, crush other guys who are at your level at this point and maybe get better. But to just get thrown like that, I think it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
I'm going to digress now, and now we're switching gears again, and let's talk wrestling. John Cena ticket sales for his last match, which is December 13th, the fifth row. Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
The fifth row tickets now. This isn't the first row. $6,500. Yes. $100. Can you believe that? That's how much the WWE loves you guys. What do I think of it? I am not very happy about it. Like, those ticket prices are insane. Regular seats, just for the average Joes like you and I, $250 to $3,000. Now, for the young kids out there who are never seen John Cena, I'm a huge John Cena fan. Can't see me. He's one of the best. And for a young kid to see his last match, to have someone that you've idolized, and you can't see him now because your parents would have to mortgage their house. I think it's horrible. I want to get your take on this, dude.
And it's a Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C. It's not even a pay-per-view, right?
No, it's in Washington. It's not even a paper. It's a Saturday night main event.
Yeah. I mean, first off, kudos to them for putting it on live TV. I think that's pretty cool when they could have charged you, and I don't have a lot of great things to say about that company anymore, but I like John quite a bit. And if anyone's a fan of Peacemaker is effing fantastic. It's such a great show. It is so good.
So good. Oh my God.
That last episode, this past when does it come out? Thursdays. Oh my God. John is so good. Like his acting chops are just, I think he's just at all-time high. But yeah, this is ridiculous. Look, Ray, you know this company is charging these kind of prices because they can, because they're getting away with it. WrestleMania ticket prices, we talked about this recently. They're out of control. I mean, some of those seats are $9,000, $10,000 on the floor. Like, guys in WWE, hi, what's up? I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of your fan base are working class, blue collar guys and gals, families. Like, you're asking 10 grand? You're asking 650 for it ain't about, I don't like John. I like John a lot. I think the fans really love that guy too, but come on, man. Like, right, again, if people weren't paying the prices, WWE wouldn't be charging. Ever since TKO came into this, there's been a major shift in how they approach pricing. They flat out admitted that. They've been very transparent with it, but they want you to pay through the nose with it. Yeah, right. And it's just, I can't imagine a world in which I would ever pay anything. $200 would be my max, and I have a hard time doing that.
Exactly. That price is insane.
Yeah.
Here's my take on this. I feel like if this was my daughter, who's a John Cena fan, if she really wanted to see him, to break her heart like that because daddy's not spending, $13,000 for me and her to go see him, is tough. And for, like you said, for these blue collar regular people who are just working, in their 9-to-5s and, just struggling like the rest of us, to throw away $13,000 on 2 seats is crazy. Or even, let's say, like I said, these regular seats, those 250 seats, we could both agree those seats are gone. So you're probably paying $400 or $500 a piece.
Good
to
point.
Run $1,000 for 2 seats. It makes no sense. And I feel like WWE's, I don't know what audience they're attacking, but they're not getting us. Imagine telling your son at 7 who wants to see John Cena, Dad, can we get tickets? And these prices are in a stratosphere, on a stratosphere that we can't even imagine. Like, what do you do?
Well, I mean, other sports are different, right? Like these big time boxing events, those ticket prices are out of control as well. But you see a lot of celebrities in the boxing crowd. There's a lot of celebrities in the UFC crowd. Lakers courtside, unbelievable how much those tickets are. But you're used to seeing them and celebrities in the crowd and stuff. And then, for some reason, Kentucky Derby just jumped into my head. When I think Kentucky Derby, I think of rich white people. That's what I think. You know what I mean? With their mint juleps and everything, and shall we have another mint julep? That kind of thing.
Another mint julep.
And they just throw thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars at those races. Guys, this is not what pro wrestling is supposed to be. Like, just because you can get that money doesn't mean you should effing get it. Yeah. You are once again throwing up the middle finger to your fans and thumbing your nose at everybody else because you can. Ray, they've done it for years. This company gets off on that. I don't understand it. Like, well, we got $1 billion. We need $2 billion. Do you though? Like, but you're hurting the people who are keeping you in business, Ray. Without the fans, they don't have anything.
They got nothing. I mean, like, how are you selling out that arena?
I don't know.
I don't know who's buying these tickets. Like, I don't get it. These UFC fights are selling out because, like you said, these celebrities, these actors, these actresses who have millions of dollars can afford to go. You'll
Yeah,
see, actresses and actors. You'll see a Denzel Washington. You'll see a Sylvester Stallone. Those people can afford those tickets.
sure.
You and I aren't dropping 13 grand on 2 tickets to see
Uh,
John Cena. As much as we both like him, and I think he's an awesome actor. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. It's just, to me, it's insane. Like, what are we doing? Like, WWE, like, I went to Vegas with, the missus, and we went to an AEW event, and we went to the pay-per-view, and I think the tickets might have been 300 for the both of us,
mm,
and no problem. And
mm.
to me, it's like, that's for wrestling. They've got to do better for the fans. It's nuts.
But
Sal says that his opponent's going to be Gunther. I'm hearing that too. There's a lot of rumors of who else it could be. They're saying it may be the Mysterio brother. I don't know. Chris is saying if it's anything like the Super Bowl, it's brought passed
mm,
up by corporate. It's a big business. Seems like Mania has been headed down this road for a while.
I agree.
I agree with you more. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know how they're going to sell this event. It's not even a pay-per-view. It's not WrestleMania. It's Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah.
And just because, again, it's his last match, you got to sell tickets like that. What if you're not there to see John Cena? What if you're there to see somebody else? Now I got to pay $6,500 to see him, or $1,000 for these seats in heaven where I could see God?
Well, not to mention all the freaking commercial breaks. Because when WWE goes commercial break, you can tell because the guys are outside the ring. Aren't they still doing that in that company? You can always tell when a break's coming.
Yeah, you always tell the break's coming. They go
If you're
outside.
watching a live televised show, that means you got to put up with that for a couple hours. That'd be fun. I don't know. I don't know. And it reminds me of back in the day when Pearl Jam fought back against Ticketmaster. They were saying what everybody else has been saying for years was these guys it's highway robbery. It shouldn't be this expensive to come see us play. So they wouldn't sell tickets on Ticketmaster for the longest time. I don't think they still are either. Chris could maybe speak to that.
Yeah.
But
do you think John Cena has a say on this? Do you think he's
No.
cool with this?
No chance he has a say. No, because it's WWE, brother. I mean, they are still in 2025. They're called independent contractors. That way, they don't have to get full-time health insurance, life insurance. They don't get benefits. And I get it, kids. Like certain, will they pay for? Sure, they'll pay for rehab and surgeries. I'm not saying nothing happens, but they're not going to be considered full-time employees because that way WWE gets out of having to pay certain things, and they're not. They can do like that whenever they want to and get rid of them or make them sit at home for a year and refuse to let them out of their contract, which they've done.
Yes. Yeah, several times.
Pro wrestling needs to unionize, but I don't think it will ever happen. And years ago, I interviewed, I think it was Van Dam.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Rob Van Dam who said that he didn't think a union was possible because there would just be too many people. It'd be impossible to organize because there's so many different levels of the business that at what level do you go for? Like, do you go for how do you organize a level of companies that average X number of fans per week? How could you possibly unionize when it's so scattered all across the world at this point? He's got a point.
Yeah. Chris comments again.
Pearl Jam lost that battle. Wow. That's such an issue getting into venues. They had to give up the cause as the relationships between Ticketmaster and the venues themselves ended up causing a big problem. That's a shame, man.
That's a shame, dude.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I feel this is such a bad way for John Cena to end his career. I think it's a shame that he's got to go out like this. And
who does he work?
I don't know who he's working with. They say it's potentially could be Gunther. They could be the Mysterio kid. I don't know. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? Because I feel like, again, that price is just absurd.
I mean, does Gunther retire Goldberg and John Cena in the same year? That's insane.
That would be insane. For Gunther to end them both?
He doesn't need it. Like, I almost kind of feel like give it to Dominic, let it, because he could run with it and be the more of a D-bag than he is now. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Emmy brings up a good point. The prices are also high because he's been acting more and getting better movie roles. I mean, he has. 100%.
He has. Yeah.
But I think it's a WWE thing. I don't think it's a John Cena thing.
I think you're right. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he's an attraction. Do I think he's a $13,000 attraction? Nobody is. For wrestling? Give me a break. Like that to me is nuts. Oh,
Fernando's
what's up, my friend?
so late to the party.
You are so late. No cookie for you. All right, I'm gonna end our last topic with something I'm sure you're not going to talk about, but we have to talk about it. Dallas Cowboys, 37-22 win over the Jets. They took an LOSE to my man, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the big controversy, and a lot of people are talking about it, this is just factual. Dak is a strong potential candidate for MVP. He's putting up numbers that are blowing people away. He's throwing for, a couple thousand yards. I think he's 79% completion rate. He's got 126 QBR. Even though the team doesn't have the greatest record, how do you not give Dak at least consideration for MVP based on the fact that the numbers he's putting up? I'm going to let you run with this one.
Oh, you don't want me to do that. How many games are they in?
17.
I mean, how many games are they in right now?
Right now, they're 2-1. So, like I said, they don't have the greatest record, which I admit.
So it's 5 games? 5 games in?
5 games in.
It's too soon, brother. I know he's your guy.
Putting up it's down. And this isn't me. This is all the NFL analysts. This is all the people who watch. It's something where I feel like you got to give him consideration. Like I said, my thought is this: just because you're not on a winning team, could you still win MVP? And I feel like, what does his performance have to do with the team? He's not playing every position. If the defense isn't showing up, but he's still lighting up the scoreboard offensively. You know what I mean? Let's look at that. What did she say? How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, but you see other comments too that you're not putting up there. I see. You know what I mean?
I like that comment. That's very good. Thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate you where you're coming from. What else did someone say? Dak MVP. What is that?
Historically, it doesn't happen that a player on a bad team, because it's not a sexy choice, because the league doesn't want to put that out there, because it's almost, I think it's almost like saying we're going to reward a team that didn't win. Like, I don't know that you can do that, Ray, honestly.
Fernando, you stink. I don't like you. Dak MVP, laugh out loud.
So vicious.
Dak has been playing a good 5 weeks. I'll give him that. Thank you.
Look, thank you.
I agree with you too.
Ray, talk to me in week 11, and let's see where he is. If he's done even better in week 11 and no one can clearly catch up to him, it's a different conversation. But I think it's too early. I just think it's too soon.
It's too soon. But right now, if the season ended today, based on his numbers, is he at least, in your opinion, consideration, I should say, for MVP?
I mean,
if
who
the
else?
Season ended right now, it'd basically be him, Josh Allen, and wow, I think. Oh, and the guy in Tampa Bay, I'm losing his name right now. The commercial guy. Guys, help me with that one. But the quarterback for Tampa Bay. So it's down to those three, in my opinion. So it's a two-way race right now. Obviously, that could change, but I feel if I had to vote now, it'd be really hard. This is not being biased. I feel like Dak has put up numbers that are on another level. Yes, it is early. Yes, there's a lot more football left, but
Eric got you.
Baker Mayfield. There you go. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's in consideration as well.
Look, I'm not a Cowboys guy. You know this. I've never been a Cowboys guy. Okay. I look real quick back in the day when they came to Carolina and played that big game that no one picked Carolina to win, and all the Cowboys are showing up in those stretch limos, and the Panthers are showing up in pickup trucks and regular 4-door cars. I'm like, I don't know where you guys think you are, but we're blue collar folks here. I don't know what, you know what I mean? And then still gave them a run for their money, and it was anyway. That having said that, I like him quite a bit, your QB. Honestly, I do. I've seen the guy. He seems like a class guy. Like, he's there for the right reasons. He generally wants the team to win. He wants to play hard. He's in a tough spot. QB of Dallas, right? It's like
his mom died of cancer.
Oh,
he dedicated the season to his mom. It's a shame. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Family guy, has a beautiful daughter, and I think he has a son too. So he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I like him as a person, and obviously everybody knows I'm a Cowboy guy, but I think his numbers are what his numbers are. And like I said, if they're going to put everything in
Well, it's tough because he's in a tough spot. He's not quarterback of the Browns. Do you know what I mean?
true.
Where he can maybe have room to grow and they're not expected to do anything. He's in a prime time spot, no pun intended, with Dallas. Like, that's not an easy position to be in. Like, I think maybe that plays in. I don't know if it plays in for him. Again, he seems like he's got his stuff together. But I don't know, brother. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Tatiana's in the chat. Thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate it. All right. We're closing this down. We have a few minutes left. So this is what I call the final buzzer. This is where you guys can ask me or Tom anything you could think of. It could be anything sports related. It could be anything about anything. You've got 4 minutes on the shot clock. Bring it. What do you want to know?
Ooh, I like that. I like your format. That's pretty good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It's pretty good.
Fernando says, big mistake of getting rid of Micah Parsons. Fernando, I agree. I like Micah Parsons. I think that was personal. I didn't think it was a professional thing. I think he didn't think he was making the team better. I just think he didn't like Micah Parsons. That's my feeling.
Interesting.
Micah Parsons is one of the best pass rushers in the game. I don't think he liked him. I think, it's one of those things. Chris Patton, Stafford had the most yards, etc. But his team is dog poo-poo. At least the Cowboys are somewhat in contention. You feel me?
No, dude.
Oh, just go with it, okay?
In my world, 2-2 is fair to Midland, as we say here.
2-2-1.
I don't know how that helps your cause any. We got that one tie, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget that one tie. That one tie is a big part of this
I
equation.
suppose.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's it's one of those things. Dak all day. Look, another supporter. Let's give her some applause. I like what she has to say. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. It's going to be tough. Timmy Gonzalez. Ooh, whoa.
Which AI performance was better, the crossover MJ or AI overtime? I go AI overtime because here's why, Tim.
Great question, by the way.
Yeah, Tim, awesome. I've always been a Sixers guy, and I'm a huge AI guy. I love Iverson. By the way, I'm so glad they're bringing back that other Sixers logo. I love it's the best logo ever. But
I agree.
I think the Laker win, the overtime performance of the Lakers is more of a thing because it was about the team. It was about the team advancing. Crossing up MJ was just about, I'm going to do this because it's MJ. And, I don't fault him for that. When you're the best and you got a young buck coming up against you, who wants to make a name for himself, then yeah, he's gonna test you. Jordan tested people that were older than him. So for me personally, Tim, I think that Lakers stuff means more, honestly.
I tend to agree. If you remember, AI was basically by himself, and for him to take that game into overtime, if you watch that game, if you watch old videos of that game, he was a one-man wrecking crew. No disrespect to Jordan, but AI did something that he beat the Lakers by himself in that game, and he was phenomenal. That cross over the overtime performance, the points he had to the whole team was basically riding his coattails. He had to do everything. So I'm going to give the notch to AI on that one.
During Iverson's Hall of Fame speech, he talked about the first time he saw Jordan in person. He said there was an aura around Jordan, that he could visibly see an aura around Jordan, like a glow. Everybody laughed. Iverson did not laugh. He's like, I'm not kidding. His eyes were real big. He's like, man, you could see it. Like, I love that. The respect level that guys had for Mike, and they should. I love that. That's another reason why I've always liked Iverson, man.
I agree, dude.
What do you think about Eric's point here about
one tie, which is the hung game for the Cowboys, was essentially a loss? I think you are incorrect, and you get a boo. I think you get a big boo.
But that's you being biased for your team, and I can respect that on a certain
Biased
level.
opinion.
Could be.
I mean, how's the rest of the Cowboys' schedule looking? Let me ask you that. Have they got a tough
They
road?
play Carolina this weekend.
That's going to be an easy win, I think.
That could be an easy win, and then they have a tough schedule. Then I think they have the Eagles, and they have some other tough teams. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough road. All right, dude, we've hit the hour mark. I want to thank you so much for joining me on my first episode. I appreciate everything. Thank you for welcoming me into the Boink Studios family.
Absolutely.
And, before I let you go, for those who are interested in advertising, looking to, promote your brand, please reach out to my man, Tom Clark. He definitely could guide you in that direction. And please promote Boink Studios, promote what you got to do, my friend.
Yeah, this is what we call housekeeping, kids. As Ray said, thanks to everybody for watching. A lot of work went into this. Ray's made a maximum effort behind the scenes. This has been at least a month in the making, I think. And we're off to the races, kids. We go live every Monday at 6 p.m. I'll be with Ray on the first several shows. Ray will have some guests along the way. I may be on camera, I may not. And it's Ray's baby at that point on. But yeah, in terms of Boink Studios and what we're trying to accomplish here, Boink Studios started as just a channel for myself and my shows. And now we're growing it. Chris Patton, who you saw in the chat, he's got 2 brand new podcasts coming out this Thursday and Saturday. And of course, Ray's going to be here with us every Monday moving forward. And so none of our content's behind a paywall. You're going to find content dating back to 2014. If you like pro wrestling, if you like pop culture, entertainment, movies, music, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we've got a little bit of everything. Hopefully you can find something that you dig. None of our content's behind a paywall. Everything is free. All you got to do is subscribe. Our podcasts are also on the audio platforms, wherever you get your podcasts, including Ray Sports and Slams. And all you got to do is visit boinkstudios.com. Once you subscribe here on the YouTube, you can find all the links to Ray's shows, to my show, to Chris's shows, to everybody else we record with. To give you a real quick, we record with a bunch of folks in the UK, very established podcasters. If you've heard of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast, if you've heard of Hallmark of Greatness or Damn It Vacant, we record with those folks as well. And also shout out to Phil Lindsay, who is one half of the crew at Grapsity, is also a writer for Bleacher Report. Phil and I have been doing Tom Clark 6M podcast for many years now, and he's been on several of our other shows. And
Likewise.
he'll hopefully continue to be a fixture here on Boink Studios. So kids, if you will, give us a follow and to just stay tuned. If you like to follow us on social media, just look for Boink Studios. Look for that black and red icon up in the corner. You can find us at the Boink Studios on some of the platforms. Other places is Boink Studios. But yeah, Ray, thanks again for having me on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Great to see you. So
I appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for this opportunity, dude. It's been an amazing ride. I look forward to what is next for us, dude. And hey, let's just keep going. Next week we'll have more Major League Baseball talk because obviously it'll be a little further into the playoffs. The NBA will finally start, I think, at that point because I know they're right now doing a lot of preseason stuff. So there's a lot to talk about, dude. Tim, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the love.
Tim, every Monday at 6 p.m., my friend.
Monday,
live 6 p.m.
6 p.m. You guys have to watch. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will bid you adieu. Thank you, Tom. You are the man. All right, guys, that's it. I will see you next week, 6 o'clock. Raise Sports and Slams. That's a wrap.